welcome back to the channel, Guitars, Mods, and Music, where we like to mod stuff. I'm Paul, Vita's behind the camera, and today we're going to drop in the Gun Street 50s Phase wiring harness. We're going to drop it into my good old trusty Epiphone 1997 Les Paul. This wiring harness is set up when I pull the push-pull tone knob for the bridge pickup, and when I have my switch selector in the middle, it'll take me out of phase. Gun Street makes a quality wiring harness, saves me a lot of time and hassle in sourcing parts. You get something like this, drops right in. This is not a sponsored video. This is all our stuff. This is just what we do on this channel. So let's get to it. So what you're going to need for this project is the wiring harness, of course. It comes labeled neck, bridge, output. They have good directions on their website. You're going to need a good soldering iron. I picked this one up on Amazon. They're not real expensive. Some 4060 rosin core solder, some snips, wire strippers. This little dandy tool pops your knobs off. You can also use a spoon. A spoon to do it too. This little tool pops your knobs off and it takes the pot nuts off. It's a great little tool. Get it from Music Nomad. I get this little kit. It's a great little kit. It's not a sponsored video, like I said. This is just what I like to use. It's a great little kit for all these little small projects. The small Phillips bit. Use the right size bit so you don't strip out them little screws in your back plate. So the first thing you do, take off your back plates. I've already done it for you. No use of wasting time on the video for that. Remember, use the right size Phillips bit. That way you don't strip out them little screws. Then you want to pop off your knob. This little tool's great for that. Comes in that Music Nomad kit. I always throw a cloth down or something, that way I'm not prying against the paint. You just kind of work it up and back and forth, just like that. Boom, done deal. This also works for taking the nuts off. I always try to I reach in and grab the back of the pots. That way they don't spin on me as I'm turning them off. It works on your selector switch also. Reach in, put my finger on the back of it, that way it doesn't spin as I'm taking it off. On your Music Nomad kit, the end of this wrench fits right down in there perfectly. Once I have all the nuts off, I go ahead and pull the selector switch up as far as I can, and I snip these wires off. Now I like to snip them off to where I leave a little bit so I can see what colors they are. I'll save this original wiring harness, and then there's no guessing game on how it goes back together if I ever wanted to put it back in. Pull the wires through, and there they are. Them's the three wires that went to your selector switch. Now I'm going to cut this blue wire that goes to the bridge pickup. I'm going to cut this red wire that goes to the neck pickup. And you can put a little piece of tape around them and label them if you want to. That way you know. There's a little ground wire here, a bare ground wire. I don't know if you can see that, but that bare ground wire goes to the bridge. It's grounding at the bridge. I'm going to cut it. So there's your neck, your old neck tone and volume, your old bridge tone and volume. This yellow wire went to your output jack. All the little washers and nuts that's still laying in there, I'll take them out, put them on these. That way I have them, put them in a bag, marked with the serial number from this guitar, and I have them in case I ever want to put the original parts back on. Once you have all the pots out, selector switch out, put them in a bag, label it to this guitar. Now we got probably the hardest part of the whole project, really. Have to fish this wire through. Sometimes it goes easy, sometimes it goes hard. There she is. You got to be careful you don't pull these wires through, because if you do, then it's a bit of a pain to get them back out. You take the switch selector wires and you can tie them, or you can take a little piece of tape it to them. Beautiful thing is you don't have to take anything out of that piece of cardboard. Set it up there, keep an eye on your other wires, make sure you don't pull them through. And there you have it. Got them pulled through. There they are. You can still see the labels on them. Now it's time to solder in your selector switch. Alright, so I run my soldering station up to 350, 375, somewhere in there. I'm using the 4060 rosin core. I have a video on soldering techniques and tricks and tips. I'll leave in the description. So if you've used your solder previously and it might have a little ball on the end of it like that, go ahead and just cut that off. Get that off of there. I like to start fresh every time. What we're going to do is we're going to take the red wire and we're going to go to this top right lug right here. We're going to fill that hole We're going to pull our material back on the wire. We're going to take our soldering iron. We're going to put it on the back side of that lug. We're going to hold that wire right on that hole. Till she slips right in there. Let her cool a second, then push your material back down. And remember, these things are all marked. So the red was your neck. That was your neck pickup right there. And we're going to take the all black one. We're going to peel the material back on it. We're going to do the same thing. Heat up the back of the lug, melt that in, clean your tip. Your solid black wire goes to that center lug right next to your neck pickup, the red one that you already put in there. Heat her up, run her through. Let her cool. Clean your tip. Go to this left lug, heat it up, same deal. Boom, run your wire through, let her cool. And blue one's your bridge pickup. You want to take your pliers on this other side. You want to squeeze them two together. Squeeze them together. That's your output jack. And you do the same thing there. Make sure you got all your cloth coverings pushed back down. Cover everything nice, and you're ready to move on to the pots. All right, now we got selector switch soldered together. I just have it set in there, haven't put it in the hole yet. You're gonna go ahead and take your output jack off your cardboard and get it put into its spot. Get it slid in there, a nut on it, and I hold my finger on the back side of it so it don't spin on me as I'm tightening it up. Now we're gonna go ahead and take our pots off, turn it over, and slide them into place. So you might want a headlamp for when you're working down in here, so you can make sure you don't want any of these braided wires touching anything they shouldn't. Tip her up and go ahead and put your nuts on. Once you have your pots in, tightened up, it's time to pull these wires back and drop this selector switch in. So you want your wires to pull back through, take out whatever slack you can, pulling them down here, and send your toggle switch right down through the hole. And there she is, she's in. And go ahead and put your nut on that. I hold the back side of it, drop on my washer, make sure I'm hooking up and down the direction I want to be. Hold the back side as you tighten it up. And remember, these things don't have to be cranked down snug. That's all you have to do. Switch feels good. Gun Street uses a Switchcraft switch. Basically same thing I took out of this. I'm going to take my knife, or you can take a piece of sandpaper, and we're going to go in here and we're going to scratch the back of this volume pot. Get the wax off of it. That's where we're going to solder our ground. For this, you definitely, at least I do, need a headlamp. So on your neck volume, there's one lug that doesn't have any wire on it. That's where you're going to solder your hot wire from your neck pickup. It's going to go right here on that lug. Going to take this bare wire from your neck pickup and this bare wire from the bridge, and they're both going to get soldered back of that pot that you scratched off. So now we're going to wire in the bridge pickup. So this black wire is going to get soldered to this white wire. There's a white wire that comes off the tone, push-pull tone. They left it not hooked up. This black wire is your lead. It's going to get soldered to it. And I like to throw a little piece of electrical tape around that one. It's really up out of the way. You don't have to. And you could use shrink wrap, or you could actually paint on some what they call liquid tape. But I like to use just regular electrical tape, because if I want to change something, I want to get in here and do any changes, I have to start cutting wires the other way. This way I can just take the tape off, heat it up, heat up my solder joint, and it's a done deal. Take it apart. Now, there's a red wire that comes off of the push-pull pot that they left not connected. This green wire coming from your bridge pickup goes to it. Solder them two together just like that. And again, that one you don't really have to do. It's going to be up out of the way, but I go ahead and put a little piece of tape on it anyway. So this next one, bare ground, it's going to go to the back of this volume pot right here. So that's it on the wiring. We'll try it out before we put the covers back on. Make sure everything's good. Neck pickup clean. Neck and bridge clean. Bridge clean. back to the middle position. This is normal. This is out of phase. Normal. Out of phase. Definitely hear that throatiness. I think overall it sounds better, cleaner, more powerful with the new upgraded pots and everything. Let's take it up to edge of breakup, see what it sounds like. It's a neck pickup. Neck and bridge pickup. Bridge pickup. Go to the center, neck and bridge. This is normal. Out of phase. Phase. Definitely throatier. Oh yeah, it works. So there it is. That's all it takes. That's a great kit from Gun Street. Good components. All the soldering that they done is excellent. It's just a great kit. It really is. Dropped it in. Everything went just like it should. I love that throaty sound when it's out of phase. You have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'll be sure to get back to you. Have a great day, great week. I'm Paul Hopley, and remember, play your guitars, mod your guitars, and make them your own.